Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is lecture number 20 and our subject is child development. Today our topic is emotional development. The outlines of the lectures are introduction about the main topic and what is meant by emotions, emotional development, characteristics of emotions, common emotional patterns in childhood, kinds of emotions, stages of emotional development. Now, first of all, introduction. The word emotion is derivative of the Latin word emovere, which means to stir up or agitate or excite. Emotions are biological states associated with the nervous system, brought on by the neurophysiological changes variously associated with the thoughts, feelings, behavioral responses, and a degree of pleasure or displeasure. So there is currently no scientific consensus on the definition. So emotions are often intertwined with mood, temperament, personality, disposition, creativity, and motivations. This is also a mental thinking or feeling of the persons at a particular instant of time, knowingly or unknowingly, is called emotions. Research on emotion has increased significantly over the past 2 decades, with many fields contributing, including psychology, neuroscience, and affective neuroscience, and endocrinology, medicines, history, sociology of emotions, and computer science. So the numerous theories and that attempts to explain the origin, neurobiology, experience, and functions of emotions have only fostered more intense research on these emotions. So from the pure mechanism perspectives, emotions can be defined as the positive or negative experience that is associated with a particular pattern of physiological activity. So emotions produce different physiological, behavioral, and cognitive changes. So the original role of emotions was to motivate adaptive behaviors that in the past would have contributed to the passing on of genes through survival, reproductions, and kin selections. Emotions are complex physiological and biological responses consisting of subjective feelings, so physiological reactions and expressive behaviors to internal and external stimuli. What is emotions? Emotion is all around state of the organisms marked by increased bodily activity and strong feelings directed to some subjects. In some theories, cognition is an important aspect of emotions. For those who act primarily on emotions, so they may assume that they are not thinking, but mental processes involving cognitions are still essential, particularly in the interpretation of events. For example, the realization of our believing that we are in the dangerous situations and the subsequent arousal of our body's nervous system. Rapid heartbeat and breathing, sweating, muscle tensions. So all these are the integral to the experience of our feeling of it. So other theories, however, claim that emotion is separate from and can precede cognition. Consciously experiencing an emotion is exhibiting a mental representations of that emotions from the past or hypothetical experience, which is linked back to the content state of pleasure or displeasures. So the content states that content state established by verbal explanations of experiences describing an internal state. So this was saying by Kim Pal Jong. And according to Crow and Crow, an emotion is an effective experience that accompanies generalized inner adjustment and mental and physiological stirred-up states in the individual, and that shows itself in his overt behavior. The term emotion, we all know that this is derived from the Latin word emovere, which means to stir, to agitate, to move. So emotion is referred to as a stirred up state of the organisms. We feel agitated or excited when we experience anger, fear, joy, grief, disgust, etc. So an emotional state consists of feelings, impulses, physical and physiological reactions. A feeling is the experience of pleasantness or unpleasantness. So every emotion is also accompanied by an impulse or inner drives toward actions of one kind or another. So the mode of expression depends upon the intensity of emotions. Physical and physiological components refers to the actual body movements. So an emotion is always aroused by certain stimulus, which may be any people, object, or event. So what is meant by emotional development? Emotional development is a process that a child develops from dependence to a fully functioning adult and applies to most life forms. This is also refers to the ability to recognize, express, and manage feelings at different stages of life, and to have empathy for the feelings of others. Emotional development refers, as we have discussed, that it refers to the ability to recognize, express, and manage feelings. So there are some examples of emotional development, like social emotional development domains are interactions with adults, relationship with adults, interaction with peers, relationship with peers, identity of self in relations to other, recognition of ability, expression of emotion or empathy. Now we shall study about the characteristics of emotions. Like the core of an emotion is feeling, and emotional experiences are associated with some instinct or biological drives. Emotions are the product of perception. Every emotional experience involves several physical and physiological changes in organisms. The basic ways of expressing emotions are inborn, and it develops through maturation. Emotions rise abruptly and die slowly. This is very important emotions characteristic. Same emotion can be aroused by a number of different stimuli. Now here I will explain that what is meant by stimuli. Something that incites to action or exertion or quicken actions, feelings, thought, etc. So the approval of other is a potent stimulus. Physiology, medicines, medical, sometimes that excites an organisms or part of function activity. Like we can give some examples that when the surface of skin is receiving a pain trigger, heat, breach by object, cold, pressure. So when a sensor receives input that causes the organisms to be aware, light in the retina, sound vibrations to the hearing organs, etc. Characteristics of emotions also involves that emotions accompany instincts. Emotions are primary and or secondary. Emotions are subjective, external situations produce emotions. Overt behavior is the product of emotion. Emotions are complex affective states, and the range of emotions, reasoning and emotions may be there. So the emotions is a stirred-up state of the organisms. We can also say that it is specific condition of the mind, and emotion is a feeling of pleasantness and unpleasantness, and emotion is always aroused by the certain stimulus, and the same stimulus may arouse different emotions. Maturation plays an important role in emotional development. So there are objective and subjective factors in the development of emotions, and other characteristics may also that emotions is more intense than feeling. Emotions have the quality of displacement. So there are some common emotional pattern in childhood, like fear is there, anger is there, jealousy is there, grief, curiosity, joy, pleasures, and delight. So before going to the kinds of emotions, we see that what are the kind like positive emotions. Positive emotion means that pleasant emotions which are helpful and essentials to the normal development of individuals. These are termed as positive emotions, for example, love, amusement, curiosity, joy, etc. And the other type kinds of emotion is negative emotions. Negative emotion means unpleasant emotions which are harmful to the individual's development, and those are termed as negative emotions like fear, anger, jealousy, and guilt. The common emotional pattern of late childhood are fear, jealousy, curiosity, affection, and joy, as we had discussed. Fear objects, situations, animals, and prepare which terrify our children are expected calmly by other children or older children. It increases as the child grows older and as he faces more pressure. Then a tremendous amount of social and emotional development take place during early childhood. As kids experience temper, tantrum, mood swings, and an expanding social world, they must learn more about their emotions as well as those of other people. So, there are other kinds of emotions other than this positive and negative, like variety of emotional prosody that are preserved across cultures correspond to different categories of emotions like adorations, amusement, anger, awe, confusion, contempt, desire, disappointment, distress, fear, interest, and sadness. So, all these are different kinds of emotions. Now, how the emotion develops? Spitz in 1949 has observed that emotions are not present ready-made from birth. Like any other sector of the human personality, they have to develop. Very young children emotions are mainly made up of physical reactions such as their heart racing or butterflies in their stomach and behavior. As they grow, children develop the ability to recognize feelings. Their emotions are also increasingly influenced by their thinking. So emotions are often divided into two general categories like basic emotions such as interest, happiness, anger, fear, surprise, sadness, and disgust, which appear first, and self-conscious emotions such as envy, pride, shame, guilt, doubt, and embarrassment. Emotional development is due to The first factor is maturation, and the second factor is learning. So, not to either one alone. Whenever there will be emotional development, so these two things will be together, maturation and learning also. There are stages of emotional development. What are the stages? During infancy, during childhood, and during adolescence, and during adulthood. Like Bridge chart is there. It is chart proposed by K.M. Bridges in 1931. It shows the scheme of emotional development in children. In the chart, she gives an account of approximate age at which the different emotions appear first. Now, this is the chart that from birth to 3 years, excitement, delight or distress. Then 3 to 6 years, 3 to 6 months, anger may be there, disgust may be there, fear may be there. Then from 6 to 12 months, affection is there, elation is there, and then from 12 to 24 months, affection for children, affection for adults, and then from 24 months to 5 years, joy, hope, jealousy, envy, disappointment, fear, anxiety, shame. So all these things appears till 5 years. During infancy, according to her, newborn infants have no differentiated emotional response but show only a generalized excitement. By this she means that specific reactions, even as responses to strong stimuli, cannot be detected during the first weeks. Only very general and uncontrolled muscle reactions can be observed. But to one, there are a lot of different theories about how emotions develop and function. Some think we are born with only 3 emotions: happiness, anger, and fear. Other believes that the babies are capable of feeling a much wider range from birth. So it is impossible to know for sure when they can't tell us, but broad crying and cooing, babies certainly communicate something. At this stage, an infant is discovering the world, good things like cuddles, bad things like full diapers, and they are noticing how everything makes them feel. So this stage is over in a very short time. At 3 months, excitement develops into distress and delights, and this distress dominates more. At 6 months, the negative emotions take the lead and distress develops into fear, disgust, and anger. At 12 months, positive emotions enter in the field and delight is differentiated into elations and affection. At 18 months, jealousy develops from distress and affection, differentiates into affection for adults and affection for children. Then during childhood, early childhood, that is from 2 to 5 years or 3 to 6 years, at 24 months, delight was further differentiated and joy appears. At 5 years means 60 months. Fear is here that there is a 60 months. Fear is again differentiated into shame and anxiety. Anger is again differentiated into disappointment and envy. From delight to hope is again differentiated. Now there are some factors affecting childish emotionality. What are those factors? Health and physical development. The children weak in somatic structure or suffering from illness are more emotionally upset and are unstable than children having better health. And then intelligence, this is also one of the factor. An intelligent person with his reasoning and thinking powers exercise control according to the situation and make proper use of their emotions. Now, other factor is family, where the cordial atmosphere prevailed at home. Children develop positive emotions, while conflicts and tensions in family relationship gave birth to negative emotions. So, the size of the family, socioeconomic status of the family, parental attitude also influence the emotional development of children. School atmosphere is also one of the factors. That healthy and conducive atmosphere of the school always results in the balanced emotional development of children. So this was all about this lecture. Take care. Allah Hafiz.